Dobry večer, Tutaj William. Something a little different on the news summary this week. The Polish Arts Festival in Limerick is in full swing, having opened last Thursday night, September 19th, and running to Sunday, October 6th, with the main events taking place at the Hunt Museum on Rutland Street and the Belthavel venue on O'Connell Street. The festival is in its 12th year, and the theme of this year's festival is that of identity. Hello Irlandia spoke with the festival director, Justyna Cwojdzinska, who gave us an overview of all the planned events. Last Thursday's official opening took place in the Hunt Museum and was performed with the Mayor of Limerick, Councillor Michael Sheen, and Agnieszka Wiebrel from the Polish Embassy, representing the Polish Ambassador to Ireland. It featured an exhibition of artists from Dublin's Icon Factory. The exhibition is open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Hunt Museum Cafe. Last Friday night was of course Culture Night, and Limerick marked it in style with a series of Polish Arts Festival events. These included a concert in St Michael's Church with a Polish choir from Supsk, together with an Irish choir from the Limerick Choral Union. So a perfect blending of the cultures. On Saturday, the highlight of the festival comprised a performance night and Julia theatre show starring Justyna Cwojdzinska herself at the Belthavel, featuring performance, theatre and dance. This Thursday night, there's a show entitled Lifted Up, for people living with an autistic spectrum disorder and for their families, friends and colleagues. Friday night is Poetry Night, featuring 3 Polish writers, with more events taking place next weekend. We spoke with Justyna about the festival earlier this week. Why did you pick the theme of identity for this year's festival?
Well, the themes actually for the festival, they evolve as they go along. For example, last year's theme was dialogue, and when we were actually during the festival, naturally the theme for the next one evolves from all the performances, from all the talks, from all the meetings and events. So from that dialogue, the theme identity emerged, which is very important when we're looking at also the current situation in Europe, when we're looking at the political situation in the European Union and who we are. Are we Europeans? Are we Irish? Are we Polish? Are we British? Are we citizens of the world? And very much the question of belonging came through. So our events this year are very inclusive, and they touched on that theme, so that we can ask this question, we can identify with the theme, we can find ourselves in the society that is very much broad and multicultural. So identity is a very important aspect of the multicultural society.
So tell us, what is the Julia theatre show all about?
Well, Julia, it's a very female journey. It's a journey of a woman that goes through very difficult and not obvious experiences in her life, which traumatize her, which are not pleasant, and which leave awful scars in her, on her emotional state. And it's a story about a survival. It's very contemporary, even looking at, not popular, but definitely suicide rate in Limerick. In Limerick last week, there were 7 suicides. And I think it's nowadays, it's something that needs to be tackled. The ability to stay alive, the ability to survive, the ability to find your own identity, to find your own self, and have the courage to fight for it, And Julia is a show of a survival woman that we called it very much, after 123 years of fighting, she's still alive. And it's very emotional, and we have looked at it from 3 perspectives. So there are 3 characters on the stage. There's Julia herself, there's Julia emotions, which is epitomized as a dancer. So there is a dancer that dances her emotions, and there is Julia's voice, which is in her head, that is additional singer. And through all those 3 performances, we show what Julia is going through. Even if she herself is still, there's so much going on in her head and in her heart that we wanted to show it in a very pictorial way and very much evocative way. So the show has been a great success. We have received a very good feedback, And I think that's not the end of Julia. We're hoping to show it in other places in Ireland.
So finally, what were the origins of the Limerick Polish Arts Festival and what's your own association with it?
Well, I'm the founder of the festival. In 2007, 3 women got together. It was my idea to do something in the art spectrum, and we have started very humbly exhibiting the works of Polish people working in Ireland, artists working in Ireland. And the idea was to show a different face of a Polish person, not only as a hard worker, but also an artist contributing to the society, contributing to the artistic scene. And it started only with an exhibition, and then it evolved. There were other events added on. And then, 2 of my girls, Natalia and Magda, they came back to Poland, and then I was left on my own, and I decided to try to get some state funding, some city council funding, and some other funding just to survive. And that was the first time that we got some, after 5 years, we got funding from Limerick City Council, Arts Council. We have also secured funding from the Polish Embassy, I think, in the 3rd year. So now, 12 years on, we have developed into a full-on festival where there are events happening, and the exhibition is taking place for over 2 weeks. So it became, in a way, a festival of, Polish artists creating in Ireland, but it's not festival for Polish people. It's a festival where we are very much inclusive nowadays of Irish and Polish and other nationalities. The Polish thing is only a springboard where we meet. But, for example, there is 6 artists from the Icon Factory, and 3 of them are Polish and 3 of them are from other country, and they are associated with the Icon Factory, who's the founder of which is a Polish girl. So we try to find now connection with Poland. Not in all events, but definitely it's about showing the wide range of artists and talk about important things, not just from the Polish perspective, but important things for every person that lives in Limerick, that lives in Ireland, that lives in the world, something that is very contemporary and touches on people's hearts.
Many thanks to Justyna for such an interesting interview. Full details of all events can be found at www.polishartsfestival.ie. If you haven't already, do make sure to make your way to at least one of the events associated with the Limerick Polish Arts Festival, and we wish all involved every success. Do zobaczenia.